It was an ordinary day at the edge of the Milky Way for Jack Turner, a space mechanic with a reputation for fixing just about anything with an engine. Jack had settled on a remote asteroid outpost, a popular pit stop for all sorts of spacefarers, from smugglers and merchants to weary travelers. Life was quiet, and work was steady, at least until the day something extraordinary happened. As Jack was working on a routine repair job for a cargo freighter, his radar began flashing wildly. A ship, unlike anything he'd ever seen, was approaching at breakneck speed. The sleek, shimmering craft came to an abrupt stop just above the landing pad, and its soft hum suggested technology far beyond human comprehension. Before Jack could react, the ship slowly descended onto the pad. Its design was elegant, a blend of organic curves and metallic precision, with iridescent lights running along the hull. As the hatch hissed open, Jack stood frozen, unsure of what to expect. From the shadows of the ship emerged a group of tall, graceful women, each clad in futuristic armor that shimmered like liquid metal. Their skin glowed faintly, a soft blue hue, and their eyes sparkled with intelligence. The leader stepped forward, her long, silver hair flowing behind her as she surveyed Jack. "Greetings, human mechanic," she said, her voice melodic but with an edge of authority. "I am Commander Aria of the Zynthar fleet. We require your assistance." Jack blinked, barely processing the sight before him. What seems to be the problem?" Aria gestured to her ship. "Our propulsion system has malfunctioned. We were forced to land here, and our technology, though advanced, is currently incompatible with your repair systems." Jack scratched his head, feeling both intrigued and intimidated. "I'll see what I can do," he muttered, grabbing his toolkit. As he approached the alien craft, the complexity of the technology became clear. The engine components were unlike anything Jack had ever encountered. Still, he had a knack for improvising. He connected his diagnostic tools, studying the data flowing across the screen. "I might be able to rig something up, but this will take a bit of time," Jack said, glancing at Aria. The commander nodded. "Do what you must. Time is not our friend." Over the next few hours, Jack worked tirelessly. The Zynthar women watched him closely, occasionally offering advice or handing him alien tools. Despite their advanced knowledge, they seemed genuinely impressed by Jack's ingenuity and quick thinking. As the hours passed, Jack couldn't help but ask, "What brings you to this part of the galaxy?" Aria hesitated before answering. "We are on a diplomatic mission to establish alliances with planets in this region. But not everyone wishes for peace. There are those who would see us fail." Jack nodded, understanding the stakes. "So, you've got enemies?" "Yes," Aria said simply, "and that is why we cannot stay here long." Finally, after a grueling day of work, Jack tightened the last bolt and wiped the sweat from his brow. "That should do it. Your propulsion system is good to go. It's not a perfect fix, but it'll get you where you need to go." Aria inspected the ship's console, and a faint smile touched her lips. "You've done more than we could have hoped for, human. We are in your debt." Before Jack could respond, the ship's engines roared to life, humming smoothly as the iridescent lights flickered back on. The Zynthar women exchanged looks of relief, but Aria remained focused on Jack. "As a token of our gratitude, we offer you a reward," she said, her tone more serious than before, "one that is not often given to outsiders." Jack raised an eyebrow. "A reward? I'm just glad I could help." Aria stepped forward, her gaze piercing. "What you've done for us goes beyond mere repairs. You've earned our respect, and for that, we grant you something rare among our kind, a gift of knowledge." She reached into a small compartment on her armor and pulled out a glowing, crystal-like object. It pulsed with a strange energy, and Jack felt an odd sensation wash over him just by looking at it. "This is a fragment of our star core," Aria explained. "It holds immense knowledge and can unlock potential within your mind. By accepting this, you will gain insight into the universe that few humans ever experience." Jack hesitated, unsure of what to say. The offer was unbelievable, He had fixed ships for years, but no one had ever offered him anything like this. He looked into Aria's eyes, and for the first time, he saw something beyond her commanding presence, a genuine gratitude and perhaps a connection he hadn't expected. Slowly, Jack extended his hand. "I accept." Aria placed a glowing fragment in his palm, and the moment it touched his skin, a surge of warmth spread through his body. His mind filled with images, knowledge, and understanding beyond anything he had ever known. He saw stars being born, planets forming, civilizations rising and falling, and the intricate dance of the universe itself. It was overwhelming but awe-inspiring. As the sensation faded, Jack gasped, his eyes wide with newfound clarity. This is incredible." Aria smiled softly. "Use it wisely, human. You now carry a piece of our legacy." With a final nod, the Zynthar women boarded their ship, the engines roaring to life once more. As the sleek vessel lifted off the ground and disappeared into the vastness of space, Jack stood alone, the glowing fragment still in his hand. He looked up at the stars, now seeing them in a new light. Not just distant points of twinkling light, but gateways to endless possibilities. Jack had always been a mechanic, fixing broken things and sending them on their way. But now, with the gift of the Zynthar, he realized he was more than that. He was part of something much larger, something cosmic. And as he gazed into the heavens, he couldn't help but wonder what other unexpected rewards the universe had in store for him. Jack stood for a long while, staring up at the stars, still reeling from the rush of the Zinthar's gift. His hands trembled as he held the glowing fragment. The knowledge he now possessed was overwhelming, yet invigorating. He felt as if the universe had opened its doors to him, revealing secrets that most humans could never fathom. For the next few days, life at the asteroid outpost returned to its usual routine, but everything felt different to Jack. His mind, now sharper and filled with cosmic insight, saw the world through a new lens. The engines he worked on seemed simpler, their intricacies easily deciphered with just a glance. He began to notice patterns in space traffic, could predict when ships were likely to break down, and even had an uncanny sense of timing for their arrival. One day, while fixing the propulsion system of a small freighter, Jack's mind wandered back to the Zynthar women, particularly to Commander Aria. He felt a strange connection to her, more than just gratitude for the knowledge they'd shared. There was something deeper, an unspoken bond forged in the moment they had trusted him with their technology and their secret. As days turned into weeks, Jack began to wonder if the Zynthar would ever return. He knew their mission was dangerous, and the enemies they had mentioned were surely formidable. He couldn't help but feel a growing urge to do more than just wait on the sidelines. The fragment had given him a glimpse of the universe's vastness, and now, staying in one place seemed almost unbearable. Then one fateful night, as Jack was closing up his workshop, the radar on his console flashed again, but this time it wasn't a peaceful landing. A small, heavily damaged Zynthar ship hurtled through the atmosphere, sparks flying from its failing engines. Jack's heart raced as the vessel crash-landed on the edge of the outpost, skidding violently across the surface. Without hesitation, Jack sprinted to the wreckage. Flames licked at the crumpled hull, and the air was filled with the acrid scent of burning metal. He forced open the hatch, coughing through the smoke, and found the pilot inside. It was one of the Zynthar women, though not Aria. "Help!" the pilot gasped, barely conscious. "The fleet under attack. We need you." Jack pulled her from the wreckage, dragging her to safety before the flames consumed the rest of the ship. He laid her down gently and checked her vitals. She was alive, but barely. "What happened?" Jack asked urgently. "The enemies, they found us," she whispered, her voice weak. "They attacked our fleet. We were forced to retreat. Aria, Commander Aria. She's still fighting, but she won't last long." Jack's chest tightened at the mention of Aria's name. His mind raced. He couldn't just stand by while the Zynthar, the beings who had trusted him with their gift, were in danger. Without another word, he rushed to his garage, grabbing every tool and part he could carry. He had no plan, no guarantee he could help, but he knew he had to try. He loaded the injured pilot onto his own small, modified ship and set a course for the coordinates she had provided, the location of the Zynthar fleet. As Jack's ship sped through the stars, the fragment in his pocket pulsed with a strange energy as if guiding him. With every passing minute, his resolve grew stronger. He wasn't just a mechanic anymore. He was someone who had been chosen, someone capable of more than just fixing broken engines. When he reached the battle zone, chaos greeted him. The Zynthar fleet was scattered, their ships under heavy fire from an imposing enemy fleet of dark, menacing vessels. Explosions lit up the sky, and Jack's heart sank at the sight of the destruction. But there was no time for hesitation. Using the advanced knowledge the fragment had given him, Jack expertly navigated through the debris, avoiding enemy fire. He spotted Aria's ship, severely damaged but still in the fight. With a jolt of adrenaline, Jack dove towards it, landing his ship alongside hers on a small, protected asteroid. Rushing out, he found Aria at the helm, directing her crew with calm precision despite the odds. She turned as Jack approached, surprise flickering in her eyes. "Jack?" she asked, astonished. "What are you doing here?" "I couldn't just sit back while you were in danger," Jack replied, his voice steady. "I'm here to help." Aria hesitated, then nodded, as if realizing that he was exactly what they needed. "Our engines are failing, and our shields won't hold much longer. We're outnumbered." Jack glanced at her ship, instantly assessing the damage. "I can fix it," he said with confidence. "But I'll need time." Aria gave him a grim look. "Time is something we don't have." Jack's mind raced. He remembered the fragment in his pocket, glowing softly against his skin. He didn't fully understand its power, but he knew it could unlock something more, something that might tip the scales. Without a second thought, Jack pulled out the fragment, feeling its energy surge through him. As he placed it against the ship's failing core, the entire vessel pulsed with life. Systems that had been beyond repair flickered back on, and the ship's engines roared to full power. Aria's eyes widened in shock. "How?" "I'll explain later," Jack said, grinning. "Let's just finish this." With newfound strength, the Zynthar fleet rallied, their ships back in fighting condition thanks to Jack's repairs. Aria's ship led the charge, and with Jack at her side, they fought back with relentless determination. The enemy fleet, caught off guard by the sudden resurgence, began to retreat. As the last of the enemy's ships disappeared into the void, a quiet settled over the battlefield. The Zynthar had won. Back aboard Aria's ship, Jack leaned against the console, exhausted but exhilarated. Aria approached him, her expression softening. "You saved us, Jack. Without you, we wouldn't have made it." Jack shrugged, though his heart swelled with pride. "Just doing what I can." Aria smiled, and this time it reached her eyes. "You've proven yourself in more ways than one. The Zynthar owe you a great debt." Jack chuckled. "Another reward?" Aria shook her head. "Something more valuable. A place among us." Jack stared at Aria, stunned. "A place among you?" he echoed, trying to process the weight of her words. Aria nodded. "You've not only saved our fleet, but you've also shown a depth of understanding and bravery that few outside our people possess. The knowledge you've gained from the fragment, combined with your natural instincts, makes you unique. The Zynthar could use someone like you, Jack, not just as a mechanic, but as a part of our people. You could explore the universe with us, unlock mysteries, and protect those who need it." Jack's mind whirled. He had always been a simple mechanic, content with his life in the quiet outpost fixing ships and making ends meet. But the events of the past few weeks had changed him. He had seen a world beyond his own, been touched by forces greater than he could have imagined. And now, the opportunity to travel the stars with the Zynthar, to be a part of something bigger than himself, stood before him. "But my life here," he began, thinking of the asteroid outpost, his humble shop, and the familiarity of routine. Aria stepped closer, her eyes filled with understanding. You've seen what's out there now. You've felt it. Do you really want to go back to fixing freighters and small ships, knowing what else is possible? Jack didn't answer immediately. He looked out through the viewport, where the remnants of the battle lingered like scars in space. In the distance, stars glittered, their light a beacon of endless possibilities. His heart thudded with excitement and apprehension, torn between the safety of the known and the thrill of the unknown. Aria's voice softened, breaking the silence. You wouldn't be alone, Jack. You'd have us. You'd have me. Her words lingered in the air, and Jack felt a warmth bloom in his chest. He had grown close to Aria in ways he hadn't fully realized until now. The bond they had formed, forged in the fires of danger and trust, was more than just professional. It was deeper, more personal. She wasn't just offering him a place among the Zynthar. She was offering him companionship, a chance to be part of something meaningful. Jack took a deep breath and looked back at Aria. I'm in, he said, his voice steady. I want to join you. A smile spread across Aria's face, genuine and filled with warmth. Then welcome to the Zynthar, Jack. The following days were a blur of preparation. Jack said goodbye to the outpost that had been his home for years, leaving behind the familiar comfort of solitude for the vast unknown of the universe. The other Zynthar welcomed him with open arms, recognizing the role he had played in their survival. They treated him as one of their own, not just as a mechanic, but as an equal. Aria remained by his side throughout it all, guiding him through the intricacies of Zynthar technology, culture, and their ongoing mission to protect the galaxy from unseen threats. Jack absorbed everything with a hunger he hadn't known he possessed. The fragment's knowledge continued to unlock new abilities within him, insights into alien systems, the ability to adapt and repair technology far beyond human comprehension. In time, Jack's skills surpassed even his wildest expectations. He became an integral part of the Zynthar fleet, not only repairing their ships but also developing new technologies and strategies that helped them stay ahead of their enemies. And through it all, his bond with Aria deepened. What had started as mutual respect grew into something more. They shared countless nights beneath the stars, talking about their dreams, their fears, and the mysteries of the universe. There was an unspoken understanding between them, a connection that went beyond words, forged through shared experience and trust. One evening, as they stood together on the observation deck of the Zyntar's flagship, Aria turned to Jack, her gaze soft and thoughtful. You've come a long way, Jack, she said quietly. From a simple mechanic to a key part of our fleet. I don't think we could have done this without you. Jack smiled, feeling a sense of pride and belonging he hadn't experienced before. I couldn't have done it without you either. You're the reason I'm here. Aria's eyes flickered with emotion, and for a moment, the vastness of space seemed to shrink around them, leaving only the two of them standing there, side by side. She reached out, placing a hand on his arm. I'm glad you chose to stay. Jack turned to face her, his heart pounding in a way that had nothing to do with adrenaline or danger. So am I. In that moment, the unspoken feelings between them became clear. They had fought together, grown together, and now, as they stood beneath the endless stars, they realized that their journey had only just begun, together. From that day forward, Jack and Aria continued to explore the universe, facing new challenges and uncovering secrets that had been hidden for millennia. But no matter how far they traveled or what dangers they faced, they knew they had each other. And in the vast, mysterious expanse of space, that was the greatest reward of all.